It's Dennis again, come to tell you some stories. Stories that will make you think and give you something to wonder about in the hours after the light has gone from the planet, which we call night time. This story is a story about a ghost with a sense of humour. So, listen to the story and see what you think. Mr. Gaskin was very ill, and to make it worse, someone was throwing stones at his house. The ground floor windows were already broken, and as he telephoned the London police, the window of his bedroom disappeared in a shower of flying glass. The police arrived and set a guard on the house, but the stones continued to fly. More men were assigned until a cordon of 40 bobbies covered every possible approach to the building. It was physically impossible for any living person to throw the stones, but they kept coming. This is one of the most recent and best authenticated accounts of the activities of a poltergeist, or noisy ghost. These good-natured but destructive spirits have been haunting mankind for a long, long time. But the explanation has yet to be found as to what they really are, because nobody really knows or understands this phenomenon. Poltergeists are real practical jokers. They seem to be happiest whenever they are driving someone frantic with their tricks. They set mysterious fires, break dishes, throw stones, knock on doors, move furniture around, and generally make a big nuisance of themselves as much as they possibly can. That they are irreverent has been proven time and again. They are most destructive when destroying a cleric's home or a church. It is a matter of record that the largest percentage of poltergeist visitations have taken place in parsonages. The Reverend Dr. Ekim Phelps found out just what that could mean. He, his wife, and 4 children came home from church one Sunday to find all the clothes in the house in the living room arranged in a resemble sitting, kneeling and praying figures. The good doctor muttered something about childish pranks and put the entire family to work restoring the clothes to their proper places. It took over an hour to replace everything, and they were just sitting down to dinner when a terrible crash from the other room caused them to rush in. A large marble top table was overturned, and the clothes were back, arranged as before, in an even more interesting group of figures. This was the opening of an attack that eventually forced Dr. Phelps to sell the house and move. Loud knocks were heard on the door, which when opened revealed nothing. Vines grew from the floor, and lighted matches were seen to fall from the ceiling. The silver spoons jumped from the table and danced around the room. When Dr. Phelps tried to grab them, a lamp sailed through the door from the other room and struck him on the back of the head. The poltergeist seemed to get its greatest pleasure from tormenting children. A little child was found unconscious in her bed, a long ribbon wrapped around her throat. The youngest boy walked into the barn and was heard to cry out a moment later. His parents rushed in and found him dazed but unhurt. His clothes, however, had been daubed with all sorts of colours. Poltergeists have been bothering mankind for thousands of years. The earliest writings tell of King Theodore and his troubles with flying rocks in 530 AD. He also had his clothes marked with strange colours. This is a very common poltergeist trick, along with throwing stones and setting fires in locked cabinets. In every age and in every part of the world, there have been reports of these mysterious activities. Poltergeists seem to operate without respect for physical laws. Objects have appeared in sealed rooms. A table that came through the door of an adjoining room would not go back through the door until it was disassembled. The strangest case of this kind occurred in London in the 20th century. Unknown forces had been hurling lime barrels around a warehouse for some time. When the workers came in one morning, they found that one of the horses was missing from the stable. They searched the building and eventually found him in the hay room, a small chamber at the top of the building. In order to let the animal out, one wall of the room had to be torn down. This is strange indeed. This ability to operate in sealed room has been one of the most baffling aspects of the poltergeist mystery. These spectral jokers have as little respect for the dead as they have for the clergy. There have been numerous reports of coffins being tossed around in sealed tombs. When this happened in Barbados, it made big news. The tomb of one of the most prominent families was opened to inter a recently departed member. It was an underground tomb, hewn from solid rock, with a stone door so heavy that it took 7 men to move it. Once inside, the mourners drew back in awe from the disordered chamber. Every one of the heavy, lead-lined coffins had been moved. Some stood on end, while others lay in a jumble, one on top of the other. There were no marks of water that might have floated the coffins, or entrances by which anyone might have entered. The vault was put in order, and fine sand scattered over the floor and stairs. Any agency that tried to move the coffins again would surely leave some trace. The massive floor, or door, was closed, and a mason sealed it tight. The governor, who showed up for the ceremony, put his official seal over the opening. while many other people marked the fresh cement with their own private signs. 8 months later, with the seal still intact, the vault was opened for inspection. The door was moved only with great difficulty, as a coffin rested against its inner side. The sand was unmarked, yet none of the caskets were in the position in which they had been left. They had been overturned and tossed about by some unseen agency. One coffin had been broken up, and an arm hung out with a withered hand pointing to the doorway. The records revealed that the man in the broken coffin had been a suicide. The flying stones of which poltergeists are so fond of are a baffling mystery. They have been observed by thousands of reliable witnesses in every nation in the world. There can be no doubt that they exist, yet there is no satisfactory explanation of their existence. These stones move very slowly, much slower than an ordinary thrown stone. They usually take wide arcs in the air, on some occasions making a right-angle turn in flight in order to pass through some opening. They are always warmer than the surrounding air. In fact, some of them are too hot to hold when picked up immediately after their strange flight. The most humorous ghost of all time was the moving spirit of the Sagara mystery. This poltergeist was a dismembered voice that spoke from the inside of a kitchen chimney somewhere in Spain. This happy shade chatted and made jokes at an hour and any hour of the day or night. The inhabitants of the house became so annoyed by witty remarks from the furniture that they made a complaint to the police. The officer inspecting the wall asked the tenant the dimension of the chimney. The tenant said that he had no idea. At this point, a cheerful voice came from the opening and said, "The chimney is exactly 6 inches in diameter." When measured, this statement was found to be correct. So, if you should find your china dancing a jig with flying stones in the front room someday, don't be frightened. After all, poltergeists are great jokers and don't hurt people most of the time. So, that story of poltergeists is an indication of some of the many, many mysteries that we are presented with in this world. Mysteries that we cannot explain with our rational minds. What are these forces? How do poltergeists operate? Where do they come from? What do they mean? And why do they pick on some people more than others? There is a lot of evidence to suggest that they are mysterious entities. And some people say that they are here to cause mischief wherever they can. But who knows? It's a strange world in which we live. We don't know what is going on half of the time. I should know that. In my life, I have experienced many strange things. Because being a demon, my senses are a little different to everybody else's. However, we do not have to fear the unknown. The only thing to fear is fear itself. We need to be peaceful and know that we can't explain everything. But because we can't explain it does not mean that we have to fear it. The only thing to fear is fear itself. So, if you are presented with flying stones or bits of furniture moving around, you may want to just ask if anyone is there. It could be that it's a spirit that has got stuck and has become frustrated and wants to try to get to where it's supposed to be. Maybe we could help it by just saying, relax, and go to where you're meant to go to. Some people say, look to the light. It's worth a try. So, don't worry if things start moving around. It could be an earthquake. Hopefully not. Or it could be a strong breeze, but not inside. There are mysteries that we just cannot explain. And we need to understand that we do not need to explain everything. If we could, life would be a bit dull. There are mysteries. I mean, look at me. Who can explain me? Look at my face. Have a close look at my face. Look. Have you seen this type of face before? Look. Look at my nose. Look at my teeth. And my eyes. Look, look. Can you see my eyes? They're amazing. But there's nothing to fear. The only thing to fear is fear itself. Well, that's probably enough of me going on today. The story itself was interesting. You don't need to hear me rabbiting on. People here at Avatales say I do go on quite a lot sometimes, but that's just my nature. I think it's better than being too quiet most of the time. Because if you're too quiet, people think you're being miserable and unsociable, and I'm certainly not that. I'm a very sociable demon. You can ask any of my friends. I like to talk with people and share my views. And most people find that okay. So, enjoy the rest of the videos on our channel. They are here to stimulate, to provoke thought, and to entertain. And if you enjoy what you're seeing and hearing, come back regularly, because new videos are released almost and most days, unless we're having a day off. because it could be Christmas or Easter or holidays. So with that, I shall say farewell for now. Enjoy yourself. Don't get stressed. And come back soon. So, bye for now. Oh yeah, I mentioned in a previous video that I'm still trying to find some good cream for my skin. I've been putting some on my hand, that's why it's so shiny. Can you see? Trying to soften it up a bit, but it's taking a bit of time. Okay, so I'm still working on that one. Yeah, the other one's the same. Look, I've got cream on there as well. So I'm trying hard to soften the skin as best as I can. And same with my face, look. It's still a bit shiny because not all of the cream is being absorbed very well. So I will keep trying, and I will keep polishing my horns, all of them, because I've got quite a few, as you can see. And I'll just try and carry on, as we all should. Okay? So, see you soon, take care, and enjoy. Bye.